and they would have went and found a replacement, go try to trade for a veteran to come in and help them. You've seen how they struggle without Tua being on the field. So I think the decision's already been made.
No reason to rush back, though, because it doesn't look like this team is very good with or without Tua, honestly. And before he got hurt, they were struggling against the Bills. So I'm not sure that this team has playoff aspirations, depending on whether he shows up or not.
The way they've played without him makes me think he must be the greatest quarterback in the history of the league because he made the offense go, and it doesn't do anything without him.
There you go. That's Dan Griziano, ESPN. The guy's talking about, I think, speaking all truths, number one, Tua must be the best quarterback in the world because when he's not in there, the Dolphins look lethargic on offense. Also, is there a need to rush back? They were getting handled by the Bills. At the same time, though, now you're 2-3. You got a chance to be 3-3. You got a chance to be still in the division. What do you do? Main question is, why did the Dolphins not prepare a little bit better? Why are we on our, quote, you and I have said it, Vlad, fourth string quarterback? The best the Dolphins could do was hope that Tua didn't get hurt this season because their backup, Mike White, who they were paying $4 million a year, cut him because Skylar Thompson outplayed him. Skylar Thompson got in and looked very ill-prepared, whether that's on the coaching staff, whether that's on him, whether that's on both of you, and ended up getting himself hurt. Tim Boyle gets in there. That's your quote-unquote third-string quarterback. I mean, whatever. And now Tyler Huntley has looked kind of there, kind of not there. Is that a major issue? Now we know, or at least we think we know, the Dolphins are going to go out there in the offseason and get a legitimate backup quarterback, possibly.
They need to.
They need to. Remember, we made fun of the Falcons so many times about why would you draft Michael Penix Jr.? You're paying Kirk Cousins. Well, Kirk Cousins got that injury history with his Achilles, and now that's not looking like the stupidest idea in the world. Miami Dolphins going to have to probably go out. I mean, let's hope they're going out to get a backup quarterback because if Tua gets another concussion this year, you may have to look for a brand new quarterback altogether.
All right.
There's no way the
There's
NFL.
There's a lot of, because, like, okay, he comes back. He gets hit in any in any type of hit that's close to the head, under the chin, like anything that's above, under the chin, facial, anything, and he wobbly, he starts throwing signs. That is it.
Dude, if you are the spotter who's quote unquote independent, if Tua takes somewhat of a hit to the head, you are playing it safe and you are putting him in that tent and you're probably not letting him back out there because you don't want to be the guy or the girl that sends him back out there with a concussion and then find out that he played with another concussion. But Vlad, if you get another fencing incident, and we all know the fencing incident is him looking at his hands after having a concussion, I don't see how the NFL, and the NFL has already come out and said, we have final say on whether he plays or not. He can clear protocol. He can be team doctored. Okay. But we have the final say. And I
think I didn't know that they would, they were going to go to that route.
But they have come out and said that we have final say on all players. But in this Tua Tagovailoa situation, you have one more fencing incident, especially this season. There's no way the NFL, especially with all that they have with CTE and all the craziness that's going on.
Yep.
Now, I did talk to a doctor, Vlad, and I asked him, no, he's a retired doctor. I said, is there any way that he could die on the field from a concussion? And the doctor who I talked to said, that's not a likelihood. The more likeliness, you can die on the field, as we know. And you can die from head trauma, yes. But he said the likelihood is not that he would die on the field from a concussion. He would just get another concussion. But the long-term effects could be just absolutely devastating. So that I don't know if that made me feel any better, but I was like, oh, well, thank goodness. Most likely we won't see anybody ever die on the field. But like, whew. But one more fencing incident. Honestly, Vlad, if I'm Tua, I say if I have one more fencing incident, I'm calling it a day.
I think if he has one more fencing incident, he knows he's got to call it a day because his family's going to help him. It's going to make that call as well. Like, this is not something that's going to be, it's going to be a concerted effort by everyone. This is not going to be just a regular, I don't think this is only a Tua decision. I mean, eventually it becomes a Tua decision, but he's going to have to involve his family.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL is going to be involved and the Dolphins are going to be involved. And they rather the safety of that man to continue the rest of his life. And, but that's us obviously thinking, in the long run and the short run. So, but what they were saying in that he has on Get Up that was true was that even before Tua got hurt, They weren't playing well
No,
offensively.
they played very
And-
badly against
And they've
Jacksonville.
continued not playing well offensively. So this was not only something because of somebody got hurt. This was something that's been going on since the end of last season that's matriculated into this season, and it's still not been corrected.
Yeah, and I think getting a little bit healthier will make a difference, but something is just not right with this offense. And we noted it from game 1 and game 2. Like, this offense just looks out of kilter, and they have never really seemed to get on the right page. And you keep asking, as a Dolphins fan, you're frustrated. You have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Jonnu Smith. They're starting to get him more involved. Now you have Odell Beckham Jr. Now Raheem Mostert's coming back. You got Devon Achane. Why is it so hard for us to move the ball? Why is it at the end of the New England game, you just basically say, Alec Ingold, go plow someone over, Raheem Mostert and Jalen Wright run through it? Like, it's frustrating. And here's the other thing. Tua comes back, let's just say, for argument's sake, against Arizona. Concussion, no concussion. Does the offense look that much better? Is it going to get that much better? Because it wasn't that much better that 1.5 games we saw at the beginning of the season. Outside of that 80-yard bomb that he made to Tyreek Hill, there was not a lot of great movement in there.
No, it wasn't.
He was overthrowing and guys were dropping passes, and it's just
And the offensive line wasn't working. Like they were hurt. They weren't protecting. That's why I gave credit to Teron Armstead. I know I'm hard on him pretty much a lot because of the fact that, death taxes, and he's gonna miss at least a minimum 4 games. But he did play last week when he didn't have to. He could have waited for the bye week for him to be fully healthy, but he came because that game was a needed win.
Yeah.
That was you must stop the bleeding win, and they did that. And as bad as you think you are or things are going, just understand this is going just as bad for the other teams in your division. So you're not that far off from still being able to compete and win this division.
And it really is true. Teams take on the identities of their coaches and quarterbacks. That's what you're going to get from the Bills as long as Josh Allen is your quarterback. You're going to get the roller coaster because some plays he looks like the MVP. Some plays he looks like he doesn't know how to play football. And that's the way the team is built. Bills one game are going to look like the best team in the NFL. The next game, they're going to look like they didn't even know how to play Pop Warner football. The Jets, who knows what's going on there? And I'm not going to pile on because everybody's been talking about the Jets, but they fire the coach.
Yeah.
They demote Hackett, the offensive coordinator, who's Aaron Rodgers' guy. They have the defensive coordinator coaching the team and other people playing. Aaron Rodgers is going on TV like, I'm angry at the fact that people thought that I had something to do with it, but they did pull me into a room and tell me about it, that they were going to fire Saleh.
But here's the thing though, right? And this is my part on this. This is why I always been saying this is a game. This is no sport can make you upset or happy for 4 to 6 days. If the Jets had won that nasty game against the Broncos, I don't think Robert Saleh's fired.
Right.
If the Jets figured out a way to come back and beat the Minnesota Vikings in London last week, I don't think Robert Saleh's fired.
You find a way to win against the 49ers in the game season opener.
I'm not even worried about it. That's just the season opener. You won 2 in a row after that, right? But if you just won one of these next 2 games, I don't think you get fired. But you get fired because that's something the owner was thinking of from before. This is not something that just happened like you know what I'm saying?
Really, it's time and optics, Vlad. I'll tell you this. Right. The owner was probably like, I'm getting sick of this. If he gives me a reason, I'm going to give him a reason. Well, he gave you a reason in front of a national audience when you were the only game on in London at 9:30 in the morning where all eyes were on you and you had all Sunday to talk about it. That was a bad timing, a bad place to do it. Happens maybe on another game, just another 1:00 game. Maybe you sleep by for another week.
But if another team that's been talked about as often as the Jets were played and lost, then people would talk about it. But it's New York. And the next day they fired him. Nobody was talking about Joe Burrow and and the Cincinnati Bengals losing. It's not a big thing. It's bigger because it's New York and it's Aaron Rodgers. So yeah. But here's what I tell this is what I always say, like I was telling you guys. If we beat Buffalo on Monday,
you're in first place.
Yeah.
Place. So that's what we're saying. Buffalo, they're going to go up and down with Josh Allen. That's the way they're built. That's the way they are. The Jets, you don't know what's going on. They may rally and start winning games. They may fall apart. The New England Patriots,
Dunzo.
Pretty sure they're bad. So that leaves the Dolphins. You don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. You're right there in the midst of it all. You could be getting your quarterback back. Maybe this offense didn't do a lot of reps in the preseason. Maybe now they can start getting their footing and they can start building towards the end of the year and getting healthy. I can't tell you what's going to happen in the AFC East. And I'm not being positive or negative in any way. I can't tell you what's going to happen.
I can tell you 10-7 is going to win that division.
That's probably right. The way everybody looks right now, and they're 3-2, 2-3, or 1-4. Let's bring it on, man.